In this video, there is a new update in ROBLOX at Desrt after the steep terrain update that can make the ground flat, namely flat terrain, a new speedometer gauge, and changes to the rocket turbine feature. Okay, when you check flat terrain, steep terrain mode will disappear to prevent mode merging. Let's see. I have already selected the flat terrain mode, and we will check whether the ground is flat. The game has started, and we will check whether the ground is flat after activating the flat terrain setting. I have checked the view from left to right of the starter house, and it turns out that the ground is about 99% flat, according to the flat terrain mode settings. No mountains or hills appear in the distant view I observed. Therefore, the flat terrain mode is highly suitable for racing and vehicle acceleration testing, as it provides a smooth surface without hill-related obstacles. There is a new item that can measure the actual top speed, called a speedometer. In the sandbox menu, it is referred to as a speedometer. I attached the speedometer to the car interior dashboard to make it look stylish and give it a racing appearance. It has already been attached, and interestingly, if you hold the speedometer while walking, it measures a speed of about 16 km per hour. The green number on the right side of the speedometer indicates the total speed. When the car begins to move with the speedometer attached inside the interior, the numbers on the speedometer start to move as well. It is a very impressive detail. I checked the speedometer of the SMC microcar and compared it with the speedometer. It turns out that the speedometer speed measurement is accurate when compared to the SMC microcar speedometer that I tested. It does not use the fake speedometer from the Desrt. In Dusty Trip, some vehicles use fake analog speedometers, but this one does not. The new cars in Dusty Trip no longer use analog speedometers, as analog speedometers were repeatedly reused and did not provide accurate speed readings. They now use digital speedometers instead. Here it is, guys. The car has now reached a high speed, and according to the speedometer, the SMC microcar actual top speed is 106 km per hour. In the video I made yesterday, I initially thought the speed was 109 km per hour, which was almost correct. The flat terrain and the speedometer are very useful for testing a car speed and acceleration with high accuracy and without any errors. If a new car is released later, I will make another video using the flat terrain and the speedometer to test its speed and acceleration. Usually, rocky surfaces are very rough, which can cause the car to crash or get stuck. In flat terrain mode, however, is the rocky surface slightly rough or smooth enough for the car to cross it, without crashing or getting stuck? Let's find out. Here it is. I successfully crossed the rocky surface in flat terrain mode, and the surface was not very rough, only slightly uneven and a bit shaky. When crossing the rocky surface, the car's average speed was 20 km per hour, even without using large wheels. If you press the blue button on the speedometer, the total speed will be reset. So this feature is useful after measuring the speed from the speedometer to measure the next vehicle. There is a new button, and Dixmin stated that the yellow button functions as a toggle for the stabilizer. I tried activating the rocket turbine without pressing the yellow button, and the result was that the movement remained straight. Then, if I press the yellow button and activate the rocket turbine, what will happen? The rocket turbine will turn sharply to the right when the yellow button is activated. What happens if the yellow button is pressed twice? Will the rocket turbine change direction and turn to the left? Pressing the yellow button twice will deactivate the system. But what happens if the yellow button is pressed again? Will the rocket change its direction to the left? It turns out that the rocket turbine will steer to the right again and will not turn to the left after the yellow button is pressed twice. I am now seated, and the object has already been attached to the rocket turbine. What will happen if the rocket turbine is launched while the yellow button is activated? The rocket turbine began to shake and roll, and then the rocket exploded, causing the seat to be ejected. It turns out that pressing the yellow button makes the rocket turbine unstable and unable to maintain a straight trajectory. I think that feature is optional anyway. I am using a car equipped with a V8 engine, and I am curious to see what will happen if I drive onto the rocky surface that has been flattened in flat mode at high speed. Will an accident occur, or will the vehicle remain stable? It turns out that when I drove across the rocky surface at high speed in flat terrain mode, no accident occurred, and the car remained almost completely stable. This means that vehicle speed tests can be conducted safely on rocky surfaces without using large wheels. In Dixmean's video footage, there is an upcoming update that allows players to attach cars to neon lights, although the colors appear to change. Let's take a look. Unfortunately, the video is quite short and only provides a brief sneak peek of the neon lights. However, the neon lights appear to be attached using cables rather than solid rods. That's all for now. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, leave a comment, and see you next time.